Alrighty.
Hey Eric,
Hey,
how are
John.
you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How was exciting week for
A
you?
big
Uh,
week. A big week.
last the baby of the house, although I'm sure he doesn't like being called that, graduated high school.
I don't know. He was up until he turned 18. He was like, I am still a kid. Thank you very much. I'm not an adult. And I'm like, oh, you're pretty darn close to an adult, according to according
My
to the state and federal government. But,
my kids
um,
both, depending on the scenario, either appreciated the fact that I said you're an adult, you can make your own decisions, or they were very upset by the fact I said you're an adult, you have to make your own decisions.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So, yeah, high school graduation was last night.
did you get rained on? I mean, it traditionally,
No, it
historically,
was
has rained.
but we took our rain jackets, so it did
That's
not
why
rain.
it didn't rain. There you
So
go.
yeah, but so let's see. So
Everyone should thank you.
yeah, I actually said that to my parents. I was like, nah, we're fine because we all brought rain jackets. Um, but
Yeah.
but yeah, so Monday night was the awards honors where they
Hmm.
kind of handed out all the cords and
Yep. Yep.
regalia
Yep.
and all the stuffs. And
Uh-huh.
then Tuesday and Monday was actually his last day of school. It's like
Right.
school. And then Tuesday they just had like they could show up late. They had a senior breakfast and
Right.
a graduation rehearsal
Hmm.
where, I mean, it was impressive. They have 450 kids all lined up
Yeah.
alphabetically in the order in which, they're going to call names
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
yeah. Anyway, so and then when last night was graduation, so
Hmm.
and it was good. I'm proud of him. He did good.
Good. I
And
told you
yeah,
we turned on the YouTube feed, so they were doing a live stream for parents or folks who couldn't
yeah,
who are out of state who can't be there, and so we turned it on while we were making dinner, and sure enough, because we know some other kids, and so we were trying to
yeah.
see. Sure enough, I recognize that king right there.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you texted me the picture with his quote, which I'm like, really? Like, it kind of made me face palm a little bit.
You should
But
read the quotes from other kids too.
oh, really?
Some are
Yeah.
good, others are
Okay.
they let you put that,
Um,
huh?
I mean, well, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but it was also like, let's say, what was it? It was something like, whatever life throws at me, I'll duck and let it hit someone else, or something along
I'm
those
here for it.
lines.
I'm here for it.
Something along those lines. I'm like, okay, you're a clever boy, but you cannot duck a life. But anyway, yeah, no, it's all good. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you. So thank you for being my lookout for my son, because you also texted me a little snippet of, evidently they recorded a video of him at dinner tonight. I was like, hey, what's this video they recorded of you? He's like, oh, I guess that happened a couple months ago. Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Your parents like to see that.
As a fellow parent, I thought you'd appreciate it since we were
I do.
watching, and I'm like, hey, I saw that. I'm like, you're probably there sitting and not watching the YouTube
No,
stream,
we
so
were very much not. We were
I was
watching
like,
the
I can help you out there.
truly live stream.
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
no, it
that's
was good.
exciting. That's exciting.
It was good. Very, very good. And then they do the overnight party.
Right.
So actually this morning my alarm went off at 4 a.m.
To go pick
to
him up.
go pick him up. Because, we were like, do we really want him driving home at 4 in the morning?
Right. Right. Right.
After having been up all night, after
Yeah.
having had a long day yesterday and exciting. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
discretion, the better part of valor and all that. So my alarm went off,
Hmm.
went down, and then I totally crashed back asleep for half hour, 45 minutes or so. And then I was worse off for having
Of
when my
course.
my real alarm went off. I really needed an extra hour of sleep, but it's fine. It's fine. The things we do for our children. Anyway, so that was good. It's been a good week.
Nice. And
One minor bee update, because remember I had to wait, and
uh-huh.
last week I got to go into the bees, and
And
both hives, both splits have queens. So I now have officially 5 colonies.
nice.
Like officially. So
Okay.
it's no longer between 3 and 5. It is now 5.
Officially 5?
It has clamped to 5.
And we're getting to the warm, like it was rather warm today. And by
yes, it
warm,
was.
we're talking, I think, 78.
I don't know.
So warm is relative, as my wife's family, who's down in Phoenix, will remind me.
Yeah, they're like
warm is relative.
We consider it warm when it's over 110.
That's winter time. Yeah,
yeah.
I am perfectly happy with the nice, moderate weather we have up here in the rainy Pacific Northwest.
Exactly. It's so rainy. Nobody should move here.
That's right.
So, how about you? Did you have a good week?
Yeah. I actually tried to sit back and think of what did we actually do this whole past weekend, and a lot of the weekend was yard work and cleaning up, and just a lot of getting stuff, spring cleaning, I guess technically it's spring cleaning, getting stuff ready. We still have, because whenever a contractor says it'll be 3 weeks, you have to apply
plus
the
4
Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion, like you double it and add 30. So we're now into week 7 of our 3-week bathroom.
Oh, that's even that's even longer than.
Well, because they find things, and then you're like,
well, yeah.
Well, what are you going to do about that? Fortunately, they have not found anything that's like, oh crap. It's more their mistake, so they have to fix it.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Well, not like we're getting, in the shower, we're having it tiled, and they're going to put a little hutch, cubby hole, whatever, for the shampoo bottles and stuff, kind of into the wall. The framing was off by an inch, and so they had to cut holes in the stuff, reframe it, and then replaster and redo everything. Reframe. So there's things like that. It's like you're not charging me extra for that one. That one's on you guys. And they do. They're like, sorry, our mistake. But that's going to, because these the subs that they have coming to work are not only doing your house.
No,
and are at your beck and call.
Slotted in.
Yes. So it's like you need,
and then, what are those when doctors have they have slots available for emergency patients or something like that?
Right. Yeah. So it got bumped. So even though everything is now here today, because of other things, finishing the tiling is now bumped to next week, which is fine. Whatever. It'll be a nice shower
until you have more people in the house, and you're like, and
which
I need my shower.
End of June. Like when we started this back in late March. I was like, look, it just needs to be done by kind of end of June. It looks like we might be done by about end of June.
Come skating right in under the wire.
They might be, putting the glass up the day everybody shows up. So.
Oh, you could hang a little shower curtain so long as everything else works.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next big thing on our agenda is the graduation party next Friday. So we now have a week to do whatever I need to do to be ready for the graduation party here.
Like a family party or a family and friends kind of party?
Well, there's 3 it's more for them. So there's 3 main kids that it's kind of a joint party for them, but then they've invited some of their others who's going to have families.
Right.
I don't know. I'm expecting between 20 and 30 people
showing up at your place.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, they can come through the front door. I
guess I didn't say that. I put the second coat of red on, and I actually went down and I got I got a roller and a roller that said for cabinets and doors.
Okay.
It totally worked. And I'm sure it didn't help, or it didn't hurt that the underlayment or the first coat was all red and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It totally worked. I don't even think that I need to put on a third coat. I think there's some places I just need to go and do some touch-up, but with a paint, artistic paintbrush, not with a big old paintbrush, kind of thing. Because there's
little misses that the roller missed.
I should know what this is, but when they have insets in the door,
Yes.
artistic things in the door where, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
gotcha.
I was very excited after I put on the second coat, and I was like, wow, that looks really good.
Amazing what the right tools will do for a
exactly.
job.
And I think, don't quote me on this, I think that might have been a one trip to Lowe's.
I don't believe you, but
Oh, well, I don't know if this counts. Lowe's didn't have what I needed, so I had to go to Wilco for some of the garden stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if that counts or not. That's kind of in the gray area.
One trip John just is not in my vocabulary.
No, it does not. So. I don't know what the deal is. It does not play. But that's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
All right.
It's all good.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, good stuff. All right.
How about a topic?
So solar power. I know you have solar panels, and you've been using it. A cybersecurity firm, Forescout, has found 35,000 solar panel systems exposed to the internet and potentially, being the operative word, potentially vulnerable to remote attacks. So we haven't talked about one of our favorite tool friends, Shodan, in a while. But apparently they just started poking around Shodan and, hey, you know what you can find? Solar panel systems exposed to the internet. Now, they do in their report actually say the fact that these solar systems are exposed to the internet does not automatically mean that they can be hacked. However, many of them could be plagued by vulnerabilities that expose them to remote attacks, and vendors are often encourage customers to ensure their devices are not exposed to the web. So it's one of those, how well do you trust a solar panel company at building secure software?
How would they be exposed to the net if they didn't have most people don't know how to do port forwarding to allow a device
their system
through.
is.
So they're probably wired up to 3G systems would be my guess for most
I
of
don't
these.
know.
Anyway, on the nice for me, personally, because it's about me, I guess. None of those technology companies are mine.
that are in the article. Yeah.
And I know for a fact that mine is actually connected to my network and is not exposed externally, at least. But
very nice.
Yowza.
Yeah. So anyways, the article is a little bit longer. It talks about some of the vulnerabilities that solar panels, and they're exploited and used as botnets. So they're really, because everything is just a Linux OS,
it's a
right?
baby Linux box.
So they're not necessarily hacking because they're going to mess with the power grid, although in theory they could. I don't know what you can do or can't do with your. Can you? I don't overclock the solar panels. I don't know what you could do, but Forescout researchers basically said, exploiting these devices with exposed management interfaces would likely have a lower impact on the grid since they are largely outnumbered by other devices that are managed by manufacturers' clouds. Nevertheless, they can serve as initial access vectors to potentially sensitive networks. True. But not a big deal. I just thought it was solar panels. I saw solar panels and, we haven't talked about Shodan for a while. So there you go. That was my article for today.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I did 1.5 topics tonight. The half topic, I hadn't seen this, but I saw it in the bottom of one of I don't know, email newsletter or something like that. I didn't see this last week. The Oregon State Legislature passed a law banning the sale of precise geolocation data, and evidently we're the second state in the country to have passed such legislation.
So you can't sell it, but you can collect it.
I did not go read the bill.
Oh.
That is the implication
I'm
of what
reading
the
through
article says.
Okay.
The article says sale of location data. And it says that it's the most stringent so far. I mean, there's only 2. It says bans the sale of data showing an individual's location within 1,750 feet. Says the bill strengthens an Oregon Comprehensive Data Privacy Law passed in 23.
Okay.
which I feel like maybe we talked about, but I didn't look for that. So it says, so the hope, of course, is that can this be a snowball and actually have other states do something similar? But it says similar bills are being debated in Maine, Massachusetts, and Vermont. So that's cool. Come on. Northeast and Northwest. But it said a bill with similar provisions recently failed to advance in the California State Assembly. So I can imagine that there's many firms in Silicon Valley that would be ixnay on the Anning Bay of Ellingsay.
Yeah. You're going to ruin my startup, bro. Is
right.
pretty much how that conversation went, I'm sure.
Exactly right. Okay, so that's like my half topic. So go Oregon. Well done. And I'll have to see how that works or how that fits. My other topic, security adjacent, is, and I got this from the 404 Media mailing list, but the link that I'll put in here is to the Federal News Network. Because that is not behind a paywall. It says the IRS open sourced the Direct File program, which is their free online file your taxes program.
Yeah.
That they've run for the last 2 years. It said they had 130,000 people file. They did it in 12 states for the 23 tax year, and then 25 states for the 24 tax year, and doubled the number of users from like 130-ish thousand to 400,000. And in 24, and I mean this has been a long time underway, and was required by law to have a free file. Actually, I think even the public. I think all tax filings have to have like a free option that they try very hard not to let you find. But anyway, there's a couple other things in here. It says, first, it says the Trump administration officials, including the president's pick to lead the IRS, say they have yet to make a decision about the future of Direct File. But Katie Aloisi, the principal designer of Direct File, said on Thursday at the Code for America Summit that most of the Direct File team left the IRS after being told to stop preparing the platform for next year's filing season.
Right.
So her quote was, basically the day we launch it at the beginning of the tax season is also the day we start working on the next year. And so when we were told, don't keep working on the future state of Direct File, obviously it was pretty bad news. Because of that, most of the team did leave, which is a bummer. And evidently, so she also told Federal News Network that here's the quote that it said, accepted about 300,000 tax returns over the 140 from the previous year. And then there's a quote in here from Suzanne Chapman, the former design director for Direct File, said that they had a net promoter score of 74 during the previous year's pilot, which is amazing, and 80 during the 24 tax season, which is also amazing. So the quote in here is that any score over 80 is considered to be, quote, world class.
Well done.
So good for them.
Government that works. That's, amazing.
But
there's always a but.
The 25 budget reconciliation bill, which the House passed earlier this month, contains a provision that would eliminate Direct File and would require the Treasury Department to come up with a, quote, better public-private partnership between the IRS and private sector tax preparation services, aka you're hurting my tax preparation dollars, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just calling back to your thing there.
That's right.
But it is it's now published on GitHub. And I went and browsed the repo for a little bit. Which
fascinates me. And
it looks pretty good. I mean, I didn't look at it. I actually spent more time looking at the README for like setting up the build environment and doing a build locally. which, I mean, clearly it did the back end stuff in Java, but
That's unfortunate.
a lot of that does. But you could basically, Docker compose and have everything stood up and running. And they had instructions for setting up the build environment that had, recommendations for how to use Homebrew and for setting everything up and, to run. And
Okay.
Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty good.
Mostly Security Tax Services 2026.
Yeah.
We just launch a Docker image up on AWS somewhere.
Right.
You can trust us. We have a cool logo.
We do have a cool logo. Thank you, Eric. Okay, so one more point about this, though. Point about this is there was some speculation, evidently, when this was released on GitHub, that this was kind of like a poke in the eye to the new administration, and it's not. This has been
Okay.
I mean, this has been under plan and was actually required by a law called the quote Share It Act. It didn't say when that was done. So it was done fully above board, and it's been in the works for since last year. And I mean, I presume that their thing would be that they would open source last year's and then work on this next year's. I don't know if they were going to plan on working in the public domain or not, but
is
regardless,
it GPL licensed?
I didn't look at the license.
Or is H&R Block just going to go copy it?
Hold on. I've got
whomever.
I've got the repo up here. Is there? Here's the license. Let's see. What's the license? As a work of the United States government,
Creative Commons.
This project is in the public domain. Yeah.
Okay.
Creative Commons 1.0 Universal Summary.
Creative Commons 0, so you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Creative Commons 0 and 1.0.
All right, cool.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyway, so there you go. I thought that's very, very interesting. I didn't, what would be fun to go, I didn't go find out where is it actually calling the IRS APIs?
Right. Yeah.
Clearly there's some, there's got to be like a package it all up into a post or.
There's a REST service somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. or an open S3 bucket you're supposed to drop.
Just trust us.
You JSON blobs or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Please don't hold me responsible for trying to think of like the
all right.
Inter-process communication between this and your PDP-11 or whatever it is that's actually running the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
No comment.
All right. Are you ready for something fun?
I would love something fun.
All right. So I think a couple years ago, we started talking about a bunch of private companies who started to try to land on the moon.
Yes.
Land rovers, do stuff. We've done that.
Or near something funds with.
Here is another near something fun.
Oh.
The Japanese company had hoped that second time would be the charm.
Okay.
For putting a robotic lander on the moon, but it appears to have failed again. So we are talking Thursday at 9 p.m., 5 hours after the landing time of 3:17 p.m. Eastern. So, this story is very, hot off the presses here. The time came and went, and the Tokyo headquarters of, I don't know if it's Ispace or Ispace, said Friday morning local time that they had not been able to get contact with the Resilience spacecraft and presumed it crashed in the northern hemisphere of the lunar near side. So it's one of the among the many private companies that are trying to land something, and they have grand visions for, this is the first step into creating a colony on the moon and actually doing space tourism and moon tourism. And go read the Lady Astronaut series, by the way. The next book just came out or is coming out very soon. I can't remember if it was June or July, or anyways, it's on my to-do list to get the next book in the series. I know you read that series too.
Yeah.
So this is still someone trying to hope to be the first private company, and the keyword there, private company, to land something successfully on the moon. 5 other countries, government-backed agencies have landed things on the moon, but no private company has
yet
successfully done that yet. So my something fun or fun-ish thing is
almost fun.
Almost fun. Almost another one. Keep trying. Don't stop.
Oh, swing and a miss. Oh.
All right. That's my fun for today.
Okay. I saw my article. Sorry, man. I just don't even know where I saw it. I saw it somewhere. And I was like, oh, that is super cool. But it's also sort of a no-op in the sense that, so this is a neurotech startup doing a brain-computer interface. They're trying, this is, what's the Elon Musk one that he's trying to do? Neuralink.
Yeah, Neuralink.
This is a competitor or something. It's called Paradromics. And they announced on Monday that they implanted their first brain-computer interface in a human, or they implanted its brain-computer interface in a human for the first time.
Okay.
Took place a couple weeks ago, May 14th, at the University of Michigan, with a patient who was already undergoing neurosurgery to treat epilepsy. But here's the no-op part. The company's technology was implanted and removed from the patient's brain in about 20 minutes during that surgery. So they... Yeah. Because it's not approved for use, but evidently the doctors can use it for research if there's no substantial risk of harm to the patient. So presumably the patient knew that they were going to do this, but while they were under, they implanted the device, measured it, got telemetry, analytics, whatever else for 20 minutes, and then took it off and took it out. And then presumably closed up his skull or their skull. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. And then no brain computer interfaces remained post surgery.
But so there's your no-op.
So that's the no-op. It's a lot of work to get back to where you were at the beginning,
right?
But the company Angle. What does it say? Paradromics founder and CEO Matt Angle said, "We've shown in sheep that our device is best in class from a data and longevity standpoint, and now we've also shown that it's compatible with humans." Although they view the procedure as a success and one in the years in the making, his other quote that I pulled out was, "You do all these steps, you validate the hardware, you have this really high degree of rational certainty that things are going to work," he said, "but still emotionally, when it works and when it happens the way you expected it to, it's very, very gratifying." So that's the thing there. So there's a long way before it can be approved by the FDA and assuming we have an FDA in a couple of years. But there's a lot of work. You can cut that out. There's a lot of work before this can actually be approved for long-term use in humans. Happy that the first demonstration was successful, and it's exciting to think of what things are going to be like in the next couple decades.
Yeah. And I assume I like that we're trying to treat a disease or something first, and not we're trying to see if we can help humans solve Rubik's cubes faster.
Yes. Yes.
Let's. You are properly focused. Thank you.
Correct.
Paradromics.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you go.
Good stuff.
Something cool.
All right. Thanks, John.
Something cool. All right, my friend.
Well, congratulations on getting another human through the public school system.
First schooling step complete.
On to phase 2.
On to phase 2. On to phase 2.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, Eric.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.